should you buy the Tati palette now or wait for the holidays? I am not trying to find an exact dupe for the whole palette. We'll see if I totally just mess this up. Oh no, that kind of worked. You can't really tell a difference. I am going to do a full day wear test to see how both will wear throughout the day. Hi guys, welcome to Emmarie Lane, where my goal is to help you save money by testing similar beauty products to see which one's best for you. Oh, and remind you that you are enough. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. I am testing out two products head to head, but it's not to see which one's better. It's more like if you can't afford this option, hopefully this is a good option that's a lot more affordable. So the title of the video, if you couldn't see, is should you buy the Tati palette now or wait for the holidays? That's not my only intent in this video. That just seemed to sum up the whole idea of the video. So this video is if you can't afford the palette, or if you're trying to save up for the palette and it's gonna be a while, or if you're waiting until Christmas, or maybe you haven't decided if you want to spend that kind of money on a palette yet. Whatever the reason is, I wanted to give an option if this palette is not in your future tomorrow or period. Obviously, I decided to take the plunge and buy it. This is the most expensive beauty purchase I've made on just one product. I just want to state that I am not trying to find an exact dupe for the whole palette. I could not find a whole dupe for the exact palette. That doesn't, my voice is like having such a hard time, sorry. I didn't think I would. I looked for hours just in case, but like there's not one out there that's affordable. And so I figured I would try to find a couple of affordable palettes that you could get, maybe that has like some similar shades, not all of them, but like that could be a semi-replacement until either maybe you get it for Christmas or you save up for it or whatever. That way you wouldn't feel completely left out. So this is a palette, if you've never seen it before, it's gorgeous. Gorgeous. I've swatched it and I might have used one of the glitter shades, but we're not playing with those today, so I think it's fine. So like I said, I searched for hours to try to find a similar palette with a couple colors and it took me a while, but I found these. These are Color Stay Lookbook palettes by Revlon. When I saw these online, I felt like both of them kind of fit the palette. This is the Maverick one and this is the Enigma one, but now that I have had them in person and I've kind of swatched things, I'm thinking the Enigma one doesn't quite fit. So my idea was when I was searching for palettes was to find something that had really good reviews, really high quality, that matched as close as shades to possible to the Tati one, because I didn't want to just find like shades that are dupes that were like garbage, because that I feel like defeats the purpose. So obviously there are no like glitter shades in either of these. I thought if you're interested, maybe in a different video I could try to find some singles that you could buy that hopefully have similar quality to Tati's glitters. They're incredible. They're so incredible. Anyway, but I think for the most part, I'm just gonna be playing with the Maverick. Both of these are under $7, so they're definitely affordable. I'm just gonna be using the Photo Focus eyeshadow primer by Wet n Wild. I personally think that this is one of the best eyeshadow primers at the drugstore. The problem with the Maverick palette is there's not a super light crease shade. So just from swatching, I think I'm going to take just the lightest brown right here. It's a little bit too dark, but I'm gonna try to blend it out and make it work. And also has like a little bit too much of an orange undertone, but I'm really gonna try to make it work. And then the Matte Soothe, put those both in my crease, see if we can make this work. And then I'm just going to have Tati on the right and Revlon on the left. This actually might work. I really like this though, by the way. So I'm really, on both eyes, I want to really try to focus and blending things out. So I'm just gonna take this shade right here, put that in the crease. The downside to these kinds of palettes that are so thin is it's kind of hard to get fluffier brushes in there without mixing colors. Nope, those are different. I might be able to put the tiniest bit of the white on top of that to try to lighten it up a little bit. Oh, that worked actually. So mixing the highlight shade and the crease shade really helped kind of lighten things up and make them look a lot more similar. It's not a perfect match, but it's a lot less not. That actually is not bad. Okay, moving on. Jeez, what do I do next? Okay, so next I think I'm gonna take the Matte Ritual and the darker brown in here and go into the crease a little bit more. So I did blend that out a little bit more. Since we're not using a lot of shades, I wanted to kind of just make the shades we are using a little bit more intense. Okay, so that was the Revlon one. So taking Ritual in matte and seeing if this will work. Oh, actually, it's a little bit more warm than the brown shade in the Maverick palette, but it's close enough that I'm just like, By the way, I'm one of those people that like gets really messy on the edge and then cleans it up with like cotton swab and some makeup remover afterwards. So if you're like, what is she doing? That looks so like not clean. It's because I don't really care right now. Okay, that's still, once it's blended out, it is a tiny bit more warm, but like it's pretty close. What do we go in with next? I might just go in with a smaller brush that's more packed and with both those colors again and really get into the crease and not blend it out quite so much to deepen it up a little bit. That helped. Oh, see, that looks a little bit better. That's more of what I wanted. Quality wise so far, both eyeshadows are really good. Like I'm impressed with both of them. I think I want to do kind of like an orange into gold look. So I'm going to take the orange from the Maverick palette and Story from the Matte Story from the Tati palette and go in with my fingers. So we'll start with Tati first and kind of go all over the lid. So originally I was not going to buy the palette. I was like, that's too expensive. And then I saw Ali Glein's tutorial and I was like, I don't need it. I don't need it. And I showed my mom and she was like, take money out of the business account and buy the palette so you can do this type of video. And I was like, really? She was like, yeah, because we are very careful with how we spend our money from what we make from YouTube, because it's not like that's our full income right now. And so we're very cautious of how we spend our money from that. And so I was like, awesome, this is great. And I told her about the video I would be doing and she's like, this is gonna be awesome. So that's how I ended up with the palette. I wasn't gonna buy it, like really, for reals. I was thinking maybe I'd ask her for Christmas, maybe. Oh, this orange is so much lighter than the other one. This might be where our downfall is. Oh yeah, dang, this one actually swatched the most similar. Isn't that so funny? I'm going to, for the Maverick, take a packed brush and some setting spray to see if I can get that color a little bit more intense. That's helping a little bit. Maybe if I mix it a tiny bit, like with this kind of like deeper shade to kind of add more pigment to it. I don't know, that's me stretching really far. We'll see if I totally just mess this up. Oh no, that kind of worked. Oh, okay. Okay, that actually ended up working out pretty well. I'm kind of proud of myself that I made that work. I'm gonna decide which gold to use. This is the gold that is in the Maverick palette, and it is very different to the two golds that are in the Tati palette. There's the Maverick and there's the Tati. I think I'm gonna go with the metallic Soothe, which is the gold row right here. Where's the metallic? Right there. With the gold and go over the orange. So we're gonna go in with Tati's first. And again, I'm just gonna use my fingers. I just washed my hands. And kind of go from the inner corner to like the middle of the lid. Oh, that's so gorgeous. You can kind of see the orange poking through a little bit. I'm just going to take the littlest tiniest bit and kind of dab over it to add a little tiny bit of gold onto the orange without completely burying the orange, which you totally could with this product because it's so pigmented. Okay, and then with another finger, I'm going to go in with Maverick. This one's actually pretty pigmented too. And when it's on top of the orange, you can't really tell a difference. And it actually is a lot more similar than I thought it would be. This one, the Maverick, you do have to build up a little bit more, but it's not awful. Yeah, it's definitely not awful. The gold kind of drowns out the orange a little bit more actually on the Maverick side, but I think it's because the Maverick orange wasn't as pigmented. I might go in with orange a little bit more on top of that just to kind of balance things out again. When you try to do dupes and stuff like that, you kind of have to mess around with things a little bit more. That's better. Okay, then I'm just going to take a little baby brush and go in and highlight underneath my brow. So that would be the arrow row with all the highlighting shades. And I'm just going to, these are both matte, so I'm just going to take the matte arrow and go underneath my brow bone. This isn't super hard to find a dupe for. Looks good to me. And then, okay, so now I'm gonna clean up around the edges and put on some concealer and stuff so I can finish up with my lower lash line. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got pretty much all the rest of my makeup on. So I'm just gonna go in with the darkest brown in both palettes and just go underneath my lash line. Blend it out with my finger. Doesn't look bad. Okay, clean the brush off. So again, Ritual, Matte Ritual in the Tati palette. And then I'm just going to take another small brush and go in with the golds on both that I've already used and kind of finish up connecting that light in my inner corner. I kind of just like stopped halfway with the brown. Okay, let me put some mascara and lipstick on and we'll talk. First, I want to compare the experience that I had with both palettes, and then we'll get into the wear test. But here is what they look like up close. And so there are definitely a couple differences. The Tati Beauty palette is more pigmented. I'm not saying that this is not, but the Volume 1 palette just is a little bit easier to work with. You don't have to build it up as much to get that pigmentation. They are a little bit easier to blend out. The Maverick palette, you have to work a little bit harder to achieve a similar look. It is possible, at least in my opinion. I feel like these look pretty similar. I am going to do a full day wear test to see how both wear throughout the day, to see if one creases, smudges in a weird way, or like fades at all. And we'll see if this really is a dupe for the shades that I have on my eyes. Again, obviously it's not a dupe for the whole palette because it doesn't have all of these shades, but if this is your only option, hopefully this will be a good option for you. So it is 11:24 right now. I will report back in probably 12 to 14 hours and let you know how everything looks. So I'm going to take a selfie so I don't have to like look back at the footage to see how things look. So the only huge difference I think is the brown on the Tati side is a little bit more cool than the one on the Revlon side or the Maverick side. I don't think it's noticeable enough when you blend things out and you add on all the other shades on top, but just to note that is still a tiny bit noticeable to me. I'll see you at the end of the day. Okay. Been like exactly 12 hours and my voice is giving out all of a sudden. It's like I turn on the camera and my voice is like, nope, I'm camera shy. So I'm gonna take some selfies to compare. Let's have a good look at this. Man, I took a lot of pictures today. So looking at the pictures and then just looking in the mirror right now, I do notice a difference. The Maverick side has faded more than the Tati side for sure. Neither one of them have creased at all, but especially, I don't know if you could tell, the gold has faded quite a bit more, and so has the brown like crease shade. It still looks good. It doesn't look awful, but like if we're comparing the two, the Tati palette is there a lot more than the Maverick, even though the Maverick claims that it is a 24-hour eyeshadow. I would definitely not say it's 24 hours. If this is your only option now or period, I say go for it because you can get a couple looks out of it that would be similar to the Tati palette. But if you're like, well, maybe I just don't want to spend the money if there's a dupe and you can afford it, I would still recommend this. Plus, you only get 2, 4, 6, 8 shades in this. How many shades do you have in this? You get 24 good size shades in this. So it's not like you're paying for like a little tiny thing. So those are my final thoughts and feelings. If you want to see a battle of the highest rated drugstore foundations, you can click right here. I love you guys so much. And don't ever forget that you are enough. Bye!